Dumelang guys, welcome or welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're already a returning subby, and if you're new, don't forget to subscribe if you're into creative home living, basically renovations, makeovers, anything home related, DIYs. Don't forget to subscribe. This channel is for you. So finally, in our Entryway makeover series, we have reached a point where I'm going to show you guys how I DIY this wall. What? Yes. So if you're just tuning into this video, you probably missed this, but I will link it down below and have them up here. We already DIY'd the entryway mirror, we already DIY'd the floating shelf in our entryway, and now we are at the wall section of everything. If you're not into power tools, don't worry, we're not using any power tools for this DIY. If you are simply looking for something simple but you can't nail into the walls, or you can't screw anything into the walls, then this DIY is for you, because we're not using power tools, we're not nailing anything, we're not using screws, none of that. We're just simply using glue and our hands to do this. Obviously you need your hands for every DIY, but anyways, point is, it is so simple tools that you need, and it's nothing that you have to buy and like sell your kidney for just so you can DIY this. This is a very simple DIY. We're gonna get into it. I'm gonna try not to overload you guys with too much information, so I'm gonna have majority of some details in the description box down below. If you are inquisitive about anything, that is what the comment section is for. Until I'm excited, I am so excited. I couldn't wait to show you guys this, so let us get into it.
So these are the items you're going to need, basically the materials and tools that you're going to need. I forgot to add this some point in time in the video, but however, the saw and the cut guide I got from Leroy Merlin. So anyways guys, let's get started into this week's DIY. So I started off by painting off the wall, selecting the paint that I want, just testing it out. I'll explain further in the video as to which color I also picked. So these are the options that I had. This is a plan that I had for what I wanted to see on my wall. So I put it on a piece of paper. It's a great way of planning. And then I taped off the wall just so I can figure out if I really liked the idea or if I wanted to make adjustments or amendments to the design that I had in mind. I already started working out the game plan throughout this whole thing. So as you can see, here's the water damage, and this wall is basically by the door, so I can call it a mini entryway. Please don't come at me. I really need an entryway. I need a win, so I'm gonna call it an entryway, and you guys are gonna agree, okay? Yes, okay. Thanks for the love. So basically there's this water damage that was here at the bottom caused by the leak in the bathroom. So now that I've sorted the leak in the bathroom out, it's time for me to sort this wall out. And I've had a couple of plans, like obviously I was fiddling here. So this is like caused by the water damage. It's just chipping away layers of paint. So I'm gonna scrape all of this off, and then we're gonna fill it, paint it, and all that kind of stuff. So I went through my paint selections, like my testers. Originally I wanted something a bit out of focus here. Okay, now we're back. Originally I wanted something more or less like this, maybe a brown with a pink undertone, but I couldn't get a paint sample for that. But instead I always wanted a green wall as well in my house. Not this green, but anyways, we all know sage green has been on trend the whole of last year, so I didn't want to go sage green because I thought it's 2021, something else is going to be on trend. But then I realized that I don't like it because it's on trend. I just love it because like the second I painted it on my wall, I was like, wow. So I'm going to have to remove this tape and then start treating the wall. So I started off by scraping off all the damaged part of the paint with my scraper. guys, with this I'm not gonna give you much advice because I thought I watched enough YouTube videos, but I still got it wrong. So I just scraped off the paint and then I used crack filler to fill it out. So after scraping it off, I sanded it down and then I swept the wall to clean it off, just so I can start filling out, so I can have a clean surface for when I was applying the filler. So my brother did help me out with the filler because it was kind of dry, so he helped me get it back to the right consistency, and then I went in filling the wall. Although I didn't do a good job, I would say focus on each step in your DIY. If you're gonna fill the wall, fill it well. If you're gonna sand the wall, do a good job sanding it, because each and every single step counts. As soon as you I don't know, what can I say, if you shortcut in one of the steps, it's gonna show at the end, which does affect the final look of this wall. So as soon as I was done filling it out and it dried, I sanded it some more. And then, as per usual, before you paint a wall, prep the wall for some paint. So I like to I'm getting ahead of myself here, but I like to apply or put in a spray bottle some soap water and then spray it on the wall and wipe it down before I paint. After that, I taped off the areas that I didn't need to get paint on, just to prep for paint. You guys have seen me prep for paint for my bedroom makeover, so you can just reference yourself to that, but it's just easy paint prep. Going in with my white paint that I used for my bedroom makeover as a primer, because of the paint swatches that I have on the wall, just to cover it up, just so I start off on an even paint or wall or whatever. I'm trying to make sense of what I'm trying to say, but I really can't. So I just applied my white paint on there and then came in with this beautiful paint. Oh my gosh, guys, this sage green. It's called Pumpkin Shell by Durham. It is beautiful. I love this paint, guys. I got it from Leroy Merlin and they just mix it up for you depending on the finish that you want. I went with the sheen finish, and this paint took me 4 coats, no lie, to apply, because the more I applied it, the more I love the color. So I would have went 5 coats if I wanted, because I love the color with the application. So this is 4 coats later. And yes, I had to add this ASMR moment because I do enjoy it when Drew from Lone Scott does it, so I figured, why not do it? So it's time for us to prep the wood and paint it as well. So this is the size of the wood. I'll also put it in the description box down below. So this is where I messed up as well. I decided to use that white paint as a wood primer for some odd reason, which didn't work because obviously the wood is very porous and it just sucked up the paint. So use proper wood primer when doing this DIY, guys. This is one thing I would change about this DIY, because you could still see the grain of the wood, but however, I somehow like it. It's grown onto me, but if you want to get it right and perfect, do that. So starting off with gluing the pieces on the wall, I started with the big pieces, the framing around, which is the top, bottom, and the left side, and then the long diagonal piece that I'm gluing at the very moment. I started off with those pieces, and then obviously things got challenging after that, and you guys are just gonna see how challenging it got because I couldn't wrap my mind around everything. So finally, once I figured how to place a measuring tape in order to measure the parallel one, you'd think that would be it, but no guys, there was another issue here. Wait for it. So I'm figuring this out. I basically want these to be like parallel to each other, and I'm trying to work out the angle that's gonna come from this wall and the length that I need. But the math in me just ran away for a little bit. Obviously, if this angle has been 45 the entire time, hold on, I still don't got it. Oh yeah, I just have to.
One eternity later.
I just cut it 45 angle, but the entire wood, not like in the middle, just all the way. I think. Let me cut one and see if I do have it figured out or not. I don't know. It's getting late at night and I shouldn't be making a noise, but well. I got glue on my foot. Uh-oh. So since I insist on not wearing any safety shoes for some odd reason, even after stepping in glue, basically using this angle guide. So I place the wood where I want it with a marking of where I'm going to make my cut, and then I'm going to place the saw with the angle that I need. I went with 45 degrees for all the angular cuts. So going back and forth, this needed a lot of elbow grease. I don't want to lie, you gotta make sure you eat some pap, some good some good nutrition before you do this. So after cutting off that 45 degree, you unscrew the clamp and then you loosen it, and then there you have it. Sand the edges for a smooth finish, and then we're gonna apply the no nail adhesive to the back of the board, and then we are gonna glue this on. When you press it onto the wall, there will be some excess glue that comes out or pops out on the side. I just make sure to wipe it off. Another important factor when picking your no nail adhesive or your no nail glue, pick one that's paintable at the end. That's the one I went with, so that everything can be easy. So as soon as I figured out the 45 degree angle, everything started to become a breeze. Every single cut I made was at a 45 degree angle. All I had to do was just measure out the length of the space that I needed to be filled out, and then make sure that I cut it at a 45 degree angle. So when it came to areas where it was at a square, I would cut 45 degree on the one side and then make the point meet in the middle. But however, there were changes. This was the longest piece, and it was still short, so this small little piece will help me to fill in this little piece, like this little gap over here, first of all. And then second of all, this is where my design alters. So you see in this triangle, I'm supposed to have 1 2 3 4 5. Instead I put in 3 only, and as much as I'd like to add detailing, I just realized that when I'm in the kitchen, I hardly ever see this detailing over here. When you walk in the door, like when you open the door covers this portion and all you see is that portion. So instead of adding more detail here, I rather add detail to a place that's always visible and in plain sight when you walk in the door or when you're in the kitchen. So let me just dim it down a little bit. So I decided I'm gonna alter from this, remove these two that I was supposed to add here, and instead put in something like that looks like a little ladder going that way. So I cut this piece to size, and I'm just going to,
put it really rainy. Put it like right there. And then obviously this is not all the way perfect. There is space. As you can see, there's space over there. There's space over there. But I'm gonna fill it up. So yeah, I'm just letting you guys know that my design is kind of being altered. I'm adding a different piece instead of that little piece over there. As you can see, I added a frame up there on the side down here, but I didn't add a frame here because I kind of like how it looks more 3D like here.
So now that the design has altered, we are going to add those leather looking pieces onto there. So I just taped off areas when I felt like it wasn't holding enough and I needed to dry off well. So fitting in the last piece of this DIY, this was such a huge relief. I stuck it on there and then removed the tape. So wiping off the excess, which is very much important, I went in with my nail adhesive to fill out the spaces instead of caulk, and I'll explain why a bit later.
Okay, so I used my No More Nails since it's paintable, hence why I had to go for a paintable glue. And I just, okay, can we focus, please, Regina? That would be nice. Okay, as you can see, there's a lot of white going on here. I just filled the cracks and the crevices with it. You can see on this side as well. So I just filled all the spaces with it. Although it's advisable you use caulk to do it. And I just did it with this thing because it's paintable. I'll let you know if it was a good idea or not when it comes to a painting. So I'm gonna let this dry out for an hour, even though like it's a quick drying glue. I'm gonna give it an hour and then I'll come in with my final touch-ups of paint, and then we should be done. Okay.
Which one got closer?
And to the left is the first room.
So looking all crusty and dusty, this is how I look during my DIYs, guys. I don't always have it together. This is just what it is. So was it a good idea for me to use that glue? Yes, it was, because it was paintable and it was easy for me to just paint over it and it didn't seep through. So I didn't take a good before shot of the wall. So these are the only shots that I had of the wall before, and I'm sorry guys, I'll do a better job next time. I guess I got too excited and over my head to start with this DIY and just jump into it, that I didn't take the pictures of the wall before I even sampled paint on it. But anyways, the good thing is you get to see the final product in 3, 2,
that was our wall DIY. I am so excited, and if you guys love it, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below, tell me what you love, what you would do differently, what color wall would you have liked to see, or what color you would go for. Let us have a conversation down below. Honestly, I've had this wall for, I think I did this DIY around February or March, between the 2 months, and we're currently sitting in July. So obviously I've had this wall for months, and giving you my review, it is still here, guys. Like, they are stuck on here and they are not moving. I'm not experiencing any chipping, any falling out of the wood panel. They are stuck, like they're not going anywhere. Everything is still in place. I love this DIY. Was it difficult for my brain? Sure. Mathematically, it was a bit challenging, but then when I finally figured out that going with just 45-degree angles all the way around this wall saves you a lot of time. Just go with one angle for the entire wall. I went with 45 degrees for the entire wall and it worked out just fine for me. So I'd say that's the only thing that's complicated about this wall. When I was scraping off the old paint and reattach, like filling out the spots, I didn't do a good job. It was not a smooth finish. I can disguise it with the wood panels, but sometimes I look at it and it's like, I should have done a better job with that. So focus more on smoothing and sanding and everything, just so you can, each process matters in every DIY, just so you can have a good finish at the end. So that's the only thing that I think I would change. The color, yes, I went back and forth with it, but I am still in love with it. There are days where I'm sitting in the living room and I just stare at the wall like, wow. Let us run the costs of this DIY. So those are the costs of the DIY wall behind me. Are there renter-friendly options of this? Because gluing it on, I don't know what the wall's gonna look like when I like break off the wood from it if you are like renting. So there is a great suggestion for you guys. I've seen Drew from Lone Fox, I've seen DIY Dahlia do this as well. They use cement strips instead of glue for the panels, and that way you can just simply remove the panel when you move out. There is that option as well. So this is not necessarily just for homeowners. This can also be renter friendly. And if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you enjoy this kind of content, don't forget to subscribe. And if you're already a subby, don't forget to turn on the bell notifications for the next video that's coming on my channel. And don't forget to comment down below, what content would you like to see more of on my channel? The makeovers, the renovations, the DIYs, what kind of DIYs. So if you don't follow me on my Instagram, it's creativehomeliving_ by Rainy, and my personal account is Rainy059. So that being said, thanks for joining me this week. Be kind, love, and light, guys.